This is Lions on Tap, a weekly look inside the Lions Den, presented by Coors Light, the chilled choice and official beer of the BC Lions. Highlights, interviews, and a look ahead to this week's game. Now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and the voice of your BC Lions, Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
You are listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW. It's the Moj. Bob Marjanovic is the man set, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski from the Lions social and media content teams. We're coming to you tonight from Goodco Granville, 965 Granville Street, the biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. And a big shout out to Declan and his crew for hosting us tonight. It's going to be a great show as we talk about the game that was, the game that is, and we'll talk a little football with Ayinde Ace Eley, Lions linebacker in his first season with the Leos. It'll be fun catching up with Ace and talking about his journey in the game of football, which is a rather interesting one with some CFL connections.
Yes.
Well, fellas,
that
wasn't what we expected against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, I had a friend text me the next morning saying he went to bed when the score was 23-8 and asked what happened. And, unfortunately, as we know, CFL football, you can never, ever quite turn away early and totally expect nothing to change. But that was tough, absolutely. Full credit to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That didn't go away. Previous years, teams like that whose backs are against it, playing at 10:30 Eastern time, you might expect some teams to throw in the towel, but not the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Just a complete, you can call it a meltdown, whatever, but Hamilton was full marks for the comeback victory. But, very stunning result, Nick.
I do look at it like on the rewatch was Hamilton was doing a lot of good things in the second half, and I think one of the takeaways, too, is that although it is 16-0 for the Lions at halftime, you kind of wish it was more than two possessions. I think it should have been more than a two-possession lead, right? Settled for a couple field goals.
Red zone problems, right?
Specifically, I think if there's one drive you kind of want back, it's after the Kent interception. You're at midfield already. It's a short field, and they have to settle for a 50-yard field goal. And while you're up 16-0 at the halftime, that's two possessions. Hamilton does score two touchdowns. They score three touchdowns in the second half, and in between those touchdowns are 2-and-outs by the Lions offense. So you talk complimentary football. Just wasn't there in the final quarter especially. And, like you said, Baker, full kudos to the Ticats. Bo Levi caught fire, and it was lights out from there.
You know, the offense did score 29 points, so not too many people looking at the offense, but I think you make a great point, Nick, and that it was in the first half. It should have been more than 16 points, right? I mean, the defense dominated. Hamilton had what? Six punts and an interception, right? And then in the second half, it was like the first half was like they were playing, it was a 5-year-old playing, say, Madden, and in the second half, it was like some guy that's in one of these tournaments that makes money, right? Because it just went crazy. It went from, 3 first downs in the first half, 3 or 4 first downs, and then they had, I believe, 38 yards total offense.
That's right.
They finished with 318 yards total offense and with 23 first downs. They had 20 first downs in the second half. And if you look at their 6 possessions, there was 1 punt, 1 field goal, and 4 touchdown drives.
And Bo Levi, I think, was 26 out of 27 in the second half.
Well,
in
he
overtime,
was 20,
something like that.
I think the number was 28 of 29 after the Kent interception.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now let's face it, a lot of those throws were checkdowns or underneath throws and stuff.
Sure.
But at the same time, he did make some nice throws. The touchdown throw where Rugumbo was covering O'Leary Orange. I mean, I don't think Manny could have been any tighter on him, right? But it's just one of those things. He just caught fire, and the Lions kind of just went ice cold. But the real frustrating thing is, and I talked to defensive coordinator Ryan Phillips today, and I'll have that column out for Black Press tomorrow. But, man, it's just like, you see that team and what they did in the first half, and then it's like a completely different team in the second half. And I'm talking about defensively, right?
The story of the season, and like you said, Moj, Bo Levi Mitchell had 1 completion over 20 yards, and it was a second and long. It was toward the Hamilton sideline, double coverage with Manny Rugumba and Ryder Varga, where they could not have been in better positions. It was one of those games where I'm watching it happen, or I'm watching it fold out live, and I'm thinking, just like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, this had to happen for this outcome to happen, and there's 5 different situations where if this one thing didn't happen, we're talking about a BC Lions.
It's kind of like the Ottawa game last year. right? Like there's about 5 or 6 different things that need to happen. They all just kind of
They all go.
They all go, and that's exactly what happened with the Hamilton Tiger Cats against the Lions at BC Place in that 32-29 overtime victory. And, and there's so many things you look at, and so many things people are going to come out in hindsight. But here's the deal: you've got an opportunity to win football games at certain points, and you just got to execute, right? That's what it boils down to. And, offensively, like I said, 29 points on the board, but even that last drive, I mean, Nathan overthrows Aiden on that one shot, and the other shot he's got, Hatch open in the end zone. Man, I mean, he makes one of those throws, the Lions probably wind up winning the football game, but it is what it is, right? So, and Nathan will be the first guy to tell you that as well, but it's just a matter of, getting it done when it matters. And right now in these last 2 games, the Lions aren't getting it done when it matters the most.
Yeah, and there's a lot of second guessing out there, okay? I mean, you hear Rick Campbell being asked about a 3rd and 1 decision, and hindsight being what it is, right? It's a second guesser's paradise, but you said it, execution. When this team was 5-1, Rick was saying week in, week out, the thing this Lions team was doing, they were making those critical 5-6 plays down the stretch. There were some close wins in there. Think of a walk-off win over Edmonton. There was a Week 2 game against Calgary that was closer than the score indicated, 26-17. That's the bottom line. Execution, it gets said a lot, but that was the difference.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm glad you made that point. And, I was talking with our good friends from Hamilton the week before. They were raving and going crazy about how the Tiger Cats came back and they beat the Argos and Legio's field goal and this, and that.
Yeah.
Guess what? If Legio misses that field goal, you know what the narrative is out of Hamilton that entire week? How their offense didn't do anything in the red zone when it mattered, when they were settling for field goals instead of touchdowns, how they didn't, drive the field when they had it. So the thing is, there are a few plays in a game that will change the lens that you look through the entire body of work. And that's, as a coach, you have to look at that entire body of work. And your hockey coach is talking about it all the time, the process, right? It's about the process. Yeah. Follow the process and the wins will come. Sometimes they won't, right? Sometimes they won't, even if you do follow the process. But right now, I think about for the Lions, I mean, the best thing they can do is try to follow that process, because the process, if you follow it, and when I talk about the process, I'm talking about executing your game plan, executing your responsibilities, executing your assignments. If you do that, okay, you may not win certain games, but you will be winning most of your games, right? Yeah. Because that's what it boils down to.
They're still in a good spot, too. Like, just looking ahead here, next week in Regina is probably going to be for second place.
Probably, yeah.
One win should get the Lions a playoff spot. So, I know we were kind of joking a couple weeks ago when I said, hey, the 2000 team, they went 8-10, and there's their kind of motivation that they can win the Grey Cup. And we were saying, we were kind of joking saying 8-10 is not the goal. But if you're looking for motivation somewhere, it's just striking fire at the right time. We saw with Montreal last year, Toronto the year before, the 2000 team. It goes on and on and on. You just got to find
Rick
the best
Campbell's
football.
Red Blacks in 16, right?
Yeah.
Toronto in 2017, not just Toronto in 2022. It has happened.
Well, we've got the Lions taking on the Calgary Stampeders Friday night at BC Place Stadium. And Bakes, you got to tell us about what's going on, because it is officially the Gravy Bowl.
Yeah, so if I'm late for practice tomorrow, it's because I'm handing out turkeys, doing these turkey drop-offs. Was carrying some turkeys around downtown to put in the car for this week. Yes, you said it. It is the Gravy Bowl, second annual turkey carving contest on Terry Fox Plaza. Pie eating contest. Our pal young Judd over here is looking to defend his title there.
That blew me away. You say young Judd. He told me he was 19. I thought he was like 31.
He's only he
looks like our old friend Pedram Shekabavkar's younger brother.
Yeah, you said that earlier, and now I can't unsee it. But getting back on track here, yes, young Pedram over there might be out on Terry Fox Plaza, 4 o'clock backyard party. Dwayne Vano, our president, can't be here tonight. He's out on assignment back east somewhere, I think. Himself and Jay McNeil, Calgary's president, going to be taking part in the main event. There'll be Molson Coors beverages for $5, a turkey-themed menu. Come celebrate Thanksgiving a week early with us. Kids tickets, $15 for those 17 and under. Adults start at just $25. I mentioned this in the release as well. We're talking about it being colder out today at practice and wet. Once October hits, I don't know what it is. It just feels like the real season is upon us. So what better way to celebrate than with another gravy bowl? Come have some turkey on Terry Fox Plaza.
And I'm sure you guys will have that all documented, right, Nick?
Probably.
As always, yeah. We got shooters everywhere. I'm making my way outside for the Terry Fox
By
Plaza.
the way, shooters up top, upper deck.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
Liam up there? That was Liam.
It was Liam and
Chang was up there,
Steve
too.
Chang as
Steven
well.
was taking photos, yeah.
They were taking photos from the upper deck from the first half. Now, they weren't up there when the football went into the scoreboard, which would have been money, but they missed that shot.
Scoreboard would have blocked it, no? I actually ball tracked that one. That was an interesting aspect of it. Apparently, Flintoff is not trying to do this to set the record straight about the three scoreboard shots, because I heard Farhan Lalji say that he has to be doing this on purpose at this point. But
Well, he's done it twice, and
Three
then
times.
somebody on the other team did it once as well.
no, it was Flintoff all 3 times.
No, there was somebody from an opposing team that did it this year too.
No, it was Flint.
You sure?
The BC Lions are. One other thing is that we haven't won a game when Flintoff hits the scoreboard. Three times. It's a weird,
Well, that's
weird
not-
coincidence.
Run to Vegas with that trend, see how that goes over.
Well, the last win at Save On Foods Field was unfortunately the Watermelon Smash, was it not? In
so
July 13th.
That is correct, yeah.
Oh, we'll see if that changes on Friday night against the Stampeders. Okay, we'll take a quick break. Just a reminder, we are coming to you tonight from Goodco Granville, 965 Granville Street. Biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. On the other side, we'll talk some football with Ace Eley, Lions rookie linebacker. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW.
Now, back to more of Lions on Tap, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
You are listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW. Today coming to you from Good Cove, Granville, 965 Granville Street. The biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. You heard the man, it's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski from the Lions. And our next guest is, well, a rookie linebacker for the Lions who's worked his way into the starting lineup. Ayinde Ace Eley. Ace, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you on board.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully next time we have you on board, it'll be under better circumstances. Tough loss against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. What was your take on the game?
We just got to finish. Simple as that. When you got a team like that, when you having a game like that, you got them 16-0 at half, and you just got to come out and finish. Be consistent in what you're doing, and just finish everything. That's when it's the most important time to focus on the details, in my opinion. So,
was it frustrating? And obviously it was frustrating, but I mean, how frustrating was it? Because this wasn't a game where, it was a battle all night long. I mean, you guys dominated them in the first half, like absolutely dominated them. I mentioned the stats. 3 first downs, 38 yards total offense. 6 possessions. There were 5 punts and an interception.
yeah.
And in the second half, it was a completely different story.
Yeah, you just got to come out. We got to come out with the same. I feel like we came out flat that second half, and they took that momentum and they ran with it, and we never took it back or got it back. So we just got to come out and finish and be consistent in those situations and make our plays. And even if it does start to go bad, we got to find a way to ring it back in and settle down and take the game back over.
How easy is it to kind of flush it and put it behind you? Because I have to say, last couple days at practice, a switch has been flipped, so to speak. Guys have kind of moved forward, and they understand there's still a big opportunity in front of us here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the game of football. Win, lose, you enjoy it or you soak in it for the next 12 hours after the game or the next 24 the next day you have off. Then it's time to get back to work once you come back into the facility and onto the next week. And like you said, guys, we're just ready to go ahead and move forward and be that Lions team that we know we are, and go ahead and put that on film and put that in front of everybody. So these next games, we want to finish this season strong and go into the playoffs race with a different mindset and determination, to go get it done each and every snap, each and every game.
And Ace, I'm sure you're learning about all the craziness in the CFL. Moj often likes to talk to the younger players and say, like, hey, like the CFL, there's 21 weeks, there's 3 bye weeks. you see that 2 possessions in this league means nothing. The overtime rules now too. I'm sure. Did you even know that the overtime rules are the same as college?
Yeah, I did. We we had our little seminars in camp, to go over different rules and different things. So I did remember that from camp, but it is like college overtime.
When it comes to the overall CFL game, though, now Ace, you're 500 snaps into this season, getting a regular role as a starter. What's kind of some of your takeaways so far from getting regular reps now in the CFL?
It's a fast game, but the game's definitely starting to slow down. Just seeing everybody is a different game, than back in the States. So it took me some time to learn it, get used to it, recognize different stuff. You can ask anybody in camp, and in camp loops, those waggles was messing me up. You look at one formation, then next time you look up, and it's 4 receivers over here, 3 over there, and they all move around. So that took some time to get used to, but it's definitely starting to slow down. And I'm happy to keep going out with those guys and compete with those guys, and it's fun being out there.
I want to go back to this week in Calgary, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that TJ Lee had in that passionate speech prior to the game in Victoria was mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that undefeated mindset. It looked like for 2 games you had it, right? I mean, the game against Ottawa and Victoria, there were a couple of occasions there where they got some big plays.
Yeah.
And I remember the first one was on a return, and you guys got a 2-and-out when they were on your 45. Another one, I believe, was after an interception, and you guys, again, 2-and-out. And even in the Montreal game, it was interesting talking to Neil McAvoy when we had him on top, the general manager of the team. And Neil said during that game, he didn't think you guys were going to lose. He's like, I never had a feeling we were going to lose just because of the mindset that you guys had.
Right.
How do you get that mindset back? Because clearly it wasn't there in the second half of the Hamilton game. Rick Campbell even told us in the post-game show. He said, right now these guys aren't believing. I mean, how do you get back to believing in yourselves and getting that mindset back that you had maybe a month ago?
You get that throughout the week, just coming in to work every day and just earning the right to win on game day. Just coming in, whether that's working out in the weight room, whether that's being on time, being attentive in meetings, going to making sure you got the installs, just making sure you know the installs, you know what's going on, and be able to execute it and go out to practice and do it. Because everything we're going to do in practice is what we're going to do in the game. So far we had a good week of practice. Guys flying around, guys we trying to flip this around and make this run. So that's how you switch. That's how you get the mindset back.
We'll talk a little bit about this later on because we'll talk about your journey, which is a pretty cool one. But it's interesting because there's people listening out there and saying, well, what's that have to do with winning a game against Calgary on Friday, what you do in the weight room or if you're on time in a meeting. But the bottom line, and we'll talk about this later, it's about habits, right? It's about practicing habits that are winning habits, and and most of it's just discipline, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just discipline and just knowing what you're supposed to do, because you got to think in the game, in the heat of the battle, emotions high, things going fast, there's a million instructions. You're going to rely back on your habits. Like you said, you're going to go back to that thing that's comfortable, that thing that you're used to. And if that's a bad habit, if that's not paying attention, being on sides or doing the right assignment, then in crunch time, you're not going to do that. So, yeah, you just have to have those habits.
Sounding like a broken record every week here, but this is an opponent this week that's going to be desperate, probably fighting for their playoff fate. And they got you guys last time. That was kind of a back-and-forth, weird game. A lot of momentum changes way back in July. Calgary lost here, of course, earlier than that in the season. But what is it you see with this Calgary offense?
I mean, they're going to play hard, for sure. You see that on film every game. No matter what their record is, they're going to play hard. They're going to try to establish the run, and they're going to try to do what they do. And you have to match that. Last time we played them, they got us. It was a close game, and like you said, they played hard down to the wire, and it came down to like a fumble, a last second fumble or something like that. So we just got to come out from the jump, start fast, stay fast, and finish fast. So that's really what we have to do, because they're going to play hard from the first whistle to the last. So we just got to match that energy and exceed it and set our own tone.
It feels like the last decade, too, Calgary's always been this run-heavy team, and they got Dedrick Mills, or 26, as I'm sure you're referring to, him in the linebacker room this week. Do you prefer going up against those kind of offenses that are going to try and kind of smash you in the mouth, or do you like kind of the air raids, or how do you like?
I mean, it don't make me no difference. I mean, offenses are going to do what they want to do what they try to do. So, but yeah, I mean, if I get a lot of opportunities, then I like it a lot. So if they want to run the ball, then yeah, so be it.
This is BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW. It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski. With Lions linebacker Ace Eley. We're coming to you tonight from Good Co. Granville, 965 Granville Street. Biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. You look at this season for you being a rookie. You mentioned the waggle. You mentioned some of the other things. How much of a different mindset is it playing a game where it's mainly a pass-first game compared to, say, the American game where there's a lot more of running the football?
It's just a lot more space and pass heavy. You're gonna be running around the field a lot. You got to get sideline to sideline, hash to hash. Is not really a different mindset going into it. I feel it's a different. You have to just take a different. You're not looking for the run right away. Like first down. Back in the States football, it's probably 8 times out of 10 going to be.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like on first down, you think, okay, I'm going to have to step up here and make a run, stuff the block or whatever, make a play on the run. Whereas here, it's like, okay, they're probably going to, maybe they're going to try to hit the back out of the backfield. They got to watch your motion. It's a lot more, I guess, cues or cues that you have to think about during the course of the pre-snap, right?
Yeah, for sure. You got to see. You definitely like the American game. Everybody's stagnant, staying still. Here, I got to be ready if he jets out the backfield, or if they running back switch it, or you got to be thinking you got to play on your toes and think on your toes a lot here, and it's just being ready for it, and it's kind of the mindset of, okay, I'm going to be kind of reactive because you got to see what they're doing first, and then once I know, I got to go, and then now I got to dictate.
I imagine when you first came up in training camp, this game was going like a million miles an hour.
For sure.
Has it slowed down for you a lot? Do you feel a lot more comfortable now?
For sure, it definitely did. It definitely slowed down the last couple games, last few games early in the season. I think the film can show that for sure. If you look back in the first couple games, I feel like to myself I was a whole different player just because I felt like I was thinking too much, trying to see too much, trying to look at everything, dissect everything. But now having those more reps and stuff, it's slowed down, and I'm starting to, feel comfortable, and now it's starting to flow. It's starting to feel some rhythm to it.
No shortage of veterans in this defense, specifically talking about training camp back in May in Kamloops. Who are some examples of some guys that maybe took you under their wing and sort of showed you the ropes as far as adjusting to the Canadian game?
Man, everybody. The whole, whether it's VA, telling me how to disguise the pressure or something like that, or his GP telling me, to look up these routes when I'm dropping back. You can't just look at the quarterback, or it's Banks P, or it's just a play. We got a lot of veterans, especially on that defensive side, that they all took a part of that grooming process, I guess, teaching me this game, teaching me, how to move, how to play, how to, just different things to look at, and some things that you can only see, while playing.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with Ace Eley, BC Lions linebacker. We'll talk to him about his journey in football, and it's an amazing one, considering what his dad did for a living, and we'll talk about that on the other side as well. We're coming to you tonight from Good Co. Granville, 965 Granville Street, biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW.
Now, back to more of Lions on Tap, presented by Coors Light. Once again, here are Matt Baker, Nick Kowalski, and Bob the Moj Marjanovic.
You are listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW, coming to you tonight from Good Co. Granville, 965 Granville Street. Big shout out to Declan and the crew here for hosting us tonight. The biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. It's the Moj, along with Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski. And our guest tonight is BC Lions linebacker Ayinde Ace Eley. Am I getting Ayinde right?
Yeah, it's Ayinde.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go. It's not bad. I did a little research here. You know, we always talk about, with our guests, we always talk about their journey in the game of football. Like, you were born October 22nd, 1998, Silver Spring, Maryland. And let's start this off right from the get-go, because I read an article about your dad, Donald Hill Eley, who was a football coach, who basically wasn't even there for your birth because he had a game, right?
Yeah, that's a true story for sure. That's, you know, football family, you know, hey, fall season is the season time. Football's up.
Yeah, so, like, you grew up in a football family, right?
Yeah.
What was it like growing up, you know, as a kid with the dad as a football coach?
A lot of weekends at the game. It was a point of time in, I think, first grade or so, where I was out of school, I think like every Friday or so, because I had to travel with the team for the game. I'm at the facility all the time as a kid and just going. I was a college football player before I was a college football player.
I heard you were like in charge of conditioning when you were 5 years old. Tell us about that story. I read about that too.
For sure. It was one day my dad had, I don't know.
It was at Hampton, right?
Yeah. I think it was at Morgan State.
Oh, Morgan State, okay.
I don't know what the team had done or something, but he gave me the whistle for the conditioning and I guess he basically said, as many times as I blow the whistle, that's how many sprints they got. And they said I was just running around the gym just chirping, and they was just running.
And from what I read in the article, he said that he said his team had played like a bunch of kids, so you're going to have a kid run you through conditioning. And apparently, from what I read, you were not kind to the fellas. You, like, gassed them to death.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was just having fun. I thought I was just, I don't know. I can't even really remember it, but I know I just had fun. But they definitely beat me up after. They tussled me and roughed me up after that for sure. But all those guys like my big brothers.
Now, your dad had 2 lengthy stints at Alabama State, I believe, and also at Morgan State, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
It's like 17 years between those 2 schools as a head coach. Now, he also coached in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah,
like in the mid-'90s with the Baltimore Stallions as the receivers coach for a couple of years.
Yes, sir.
And then a couple of years with the Toronto Argonauts as a guest coach, correct?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so do you have any recollections of those CFL days?
Nah, that was before I was born. I think he was with the Baltimore Stallions in 1996. I was born in 98. But he used to tell me all the time about it and about the the stories in the CFL, how, you know, he had Joe Horn when he first came to the CFL, and so I heard all those stories.
Yeah, 94, 95, you're correct. The only 2 years that franchise existed, when the other American teams folded, Baltimore became the current version of the Montreal Alouettes. Not sure if you knew that. Interesting piece of history there. Did your dad ever tell stories? Because Baltimore, of course, would have lost the 94 Grey Cup at BC Place to the Lions, one of the better Grey Cups in modern CFL history, and they won it in 95 against Calgary. Did you ever see his Grey Cup ring? Or did you ever talk about that?
Yeah, he wears those rings for sure. He, many times he gets dressed up or puts the suits on, those rings definitely coming on, you know. And if anybody asks about it, he'll definitely tell you a story about those rings for sure.
So football was a big part of your life, right?
Yes, sir.
When did you start playing?
I started playing when I was 6, but it was actually a funny story about that. So I was living with my dad at the time, and my mom, she was doing her, she was working in Mississippi. She's a doctor, so she got placed in Mississippi. So she didn't know that I started playing football, and she was against it at first. And, you know, my dad told her that I wasn't going to play. I wasn't playing. But my older cousins was on the team and everybody, so I ended up playing. I started playing when I was 6 on the 8 and 9 team. So I started playing up, and that was a rough year, I'm telling you.
So, but when you were playing up, you realized that, hey, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was good or had a future in football, and probably until high school, really, when it started to get serious. Just seeing, the competition of who I was playing, and just the coaches telling me, recruiters and everything telling me, I could, do some things with this. So that's when it started to get serious for me in high school.
You went to Maryland. Who else was in on you?
Maryland, Kentucky was heavy on me. My best friend from high school, he went to Kentucky. UNC, Virginia Tech, all those guys. It really came down to it just felt home at Maryland at the time with DJ Durkin, Coach Matt Barnes and stuff. They recruited me at the time, and it just felt like home. It was home. So.
And you actually played with a guy that suited up for Hamilton the other night.
Yes, sir.
Taulina Tungavaloa.
Yeah,
Tungavaloa. There we go. I got it right.
Tungavaloa. Yeah, that's my guy right there. Yeah. So he came to Maryland in 2020. We played together, man. Leah, that's my dog. We clicked in practice from competing in practice. Yeah, I'm trying to stop the offense, and he trying to score. He want to score every play on us so he could talk trash. So it's just we built a relationship off of that, and it just,
Everyone talks about Tua at Alabama, but his brother's the leading all-time passer at the University of Maryland. So he put up monster numbers.
For sure, yeah. He did his thing his time. He did his thing there, man. He did what he was supposed to do. He came there, and he turned them around, and, they offered a great path for sure.
So Ace, then in 2021, you transfer to Georgia Tech, and this is kind of the full circle moment. Your dad is then coaching at Alabama State. He gets relieved of his duties, but then gets invited to become a guest coach at Georgia Tech. Fully reuniting you guys. So just walk me through that process when you first found out and what that was like with your dad at Georgia Tech.
It was great. It was Coach Collins. He had called me into his office one time during that time, and just basically like, asking me, do you have a problem with him bringing my dad on staff, and just wanted to run it by me. And I said, nah, that would be great. We haven't been together during football season at that time for about 10, 12 years or so. So that was just great, just being with him during that time, go from not seeing him at all during football season to seeing him every day.
So when you see him in the hallway, you say dad or you say coach?
Well, he was on the offensive side, so
barely sound.
Yeah, so we didn't really talk. We didn't really talk too much how this goes, but I called him dad in the hallways. I did, but on the field, we didn't really talk much, and he was coaching a running back, so he was always giving them an extra edge, try to beat me up or try to win in the drill or something.
I was just going to ask about that because I think Mojo I was reading the same article he was, and they brought that up, that he was on the running back side and he was having to tell his guys that, hey, number 2 on Georgia Tech, you got to run through his face.
Yeah, he'll tell them straight. He said, that's my son, but I'd be proud of you if you ran through his face. So,
thanks, Dad.
Yeah, so it's always been that, but nah. So it was all love and all that. So it's just great having him out there and just around during that time.
So then you leave Georgia Tech and you get a couple of NFL tryouts. Talk to me about those NFL tryouts and how they went. Carolina and Houston.
I was just with Carolina for the year. I never went to Houston, but Carolina was good. It was a good experience for me. I got signed there. I had a mini camp tryout. After the tryout, they signed me. Went through camp. Ended up getting released after camp and then brought back on the practice squad, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot from those guys over there. Shaq Thompson, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. We called him Debo. But, all those guys there, they were just great mentors, and, man, they taught me a lot, and they taught me a lot about the game, the NFL game, just being a pro in general.
Canadian Football League, how'd you wind up here?
Canadian, Ryan called me after.
Rick Maiden? Yes, who's the Lions director we're just letting people know.
Yes,
Lions director of player personnel in the States, yeah.
So he called me after I had just got cut from the UFL. I was just working out and stuff and basically saying, they need linebackers to come into camp this year. I think 2 linebackers had just left or something like that. And, it was just an opportunity to come play football, and that's what I needed. So my whole thing was I'm just trying to, go up to camp and camp loops and just take full advantage of every day. I'm still trying to do that, trying to, just keep proving myself and then, keep creating a role for myself and whatever that looked like.
Yeah, and did you talk to anyone about the CFL before making the first trip up here, or anyone you played college with maybe that maybe had a connection that you can think of other than your dad, of course?
Yeah, and then Gary, GP, so we work out at the same gym,
right.
DSA in Atlanta. So, he was always telling me, you need to come to the CFL, And then when I finally got signed, especially to BC, he was so excited. He called every time I showed up to workout, he'd be like, what's up, teammate? What's up, teammate? So
Gary kind of full of excitement. I can't see that. He's such a quiet guy.
Nah.
Laid back.
Yeah.
Nah. GV's up for sure. But nah, he was excited. Just telling me the different game, just about the difference of the game, and just some different things to look for. Just moving wise, just the field being wider, the route combinations. So it was just great having him.
Hey, by the way, just to let you know, I did notice you in training camp because you're the guy that was making a lot of big hits. I talked to Coach Brown. I go, who's that? Oh, that's Eley. Watch out for 41. These two guys here have little faith because they did all these rookies. They did Barry Hill. You did Ronald Kent Jr.
Yeah.
They had all these rookies that they thought were going to make the team, but they never thought, to
There's
do
always one or two that slip through the cracks. It's okay. Well, you know, Nick here, he goes by how many Instagram followers the guys have, right?
I can only be at one place. I do remember 41 Ace right from the get-go.
Well, the funny thing is like, what's his name? Just Ace.
Ace.
That was a big thing. Like you talk to people, what 41 Ace? Ace what? Eley. And then I thought you might have been, and we talked about this. The Lions had a running back named Monroe Eley in the early 70s.
Yeah.
He played at Georgia, played here for 3 years, had a 1,000-yard season, and then ironically enough, played in Atlanta for 3 years with the Falcons.
Well, I was going to say the first time I talked to you was when Moj had asked me, is he related to Monroe Eley?
Yeah.
I said, that's a good question, and then it turned out was not. That was our first conversation.
I remember
on the
that,
sidelines. Yes.
All right, before we let you go, Calgary coming up. What are you expecting from the Stampeders? What are you expecting, more importantly, from your defensive unit this week?
Well, for the defensive unit, just to come out, play hard, play and execute, play our style of football, and let's dictate the game. We got the ability to do that. We've done it at spurts, certain times of the season, certain games. But the challenge for us for this week is to do it all game, from the first whistle to the last whistle, is to dominate the game. So that's the goal. And then the Stampeders, like I said earlier, they're gonna come out and play hard. They're gonna, they got a brand of football that they play to as well, and they're gonna come play hard, and they're gonna, they're professionals too, and they're gonna come do what they're supposed to do. But our job is to dictate the game and do what we're supposed to do, and at the end, come out victorious.
2 of 3 at home as well. This final push to locking up a playoff spot. How motivating is that?
It's motivating for sure, but we just worry about the next game. Just win this game, then can worry about the next one, and then we're gonna take that on and on until there's no more games to play. So,
Well, Ace, thank you so much for stopping by tonight. It's been a treat getting to know your story and talking about, your football journey. So congratulations and continued success with the Lions.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all for having me.
That is Ace Eley, BC Lions linebacker, number 41 in your program. He was our guest tonight here at Good Co. Granville, 965 Granville Street. Biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, Nick Kowalski's world famous trivia. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW.
This is Lions on Tap, presented by Coors Light, the chill choice and official beer of the BC Lions. Now it's time for Nick Kowalski's world famous trivia.
Oh yeah, critically acclaimed, successful part of our program. Kowalski's Trivia. You're listening to BC Lions on Tap on 980 CKNW. It's the Moj, Bob Marjanovic, along with Matt Baker, coming to you tonight from Good Co. Granville, 965 Granville Street, the biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. Your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. All right, Kowalski, what do you got for us this week?
Last week's format was a big hit, but I'm going away from it. I'll bring it back for another week. But we're talking with Ace Eley here. Gotta go with a linebacker theme question, right? And the first thing you think of with linebackers is tackles, obviously, right?
Yep.
So 23 players. 1987 is actually when tackles became a stat in the CFL. 23 BC Lions.
So eliminates Ray Nettles.
Yeah. So from 1987 on, 23 different BC Lions have led the team in tackles in a season. This will go
Solomon
back and forth.
Elimimian.
So give me a second because Solomon's done it multiple times, so I'm just going to unveil when he did it. So Solomon obviously has the record in 2017 with 144.
Big hill.
So Big Hill's the other big one. He did it in 2015.
The year Solly got hurt. Yeah.
Baron
And
Simpson's got a whole bunch probably.
Baron Simpson is a correct answer. Baron
There's a
Simpson
good
did
one.
it in 2005, 2004, 2003. So he kind of had a stretch there.
Otis Floyd.
Otis Floyd is incorrect, Baker.
Ooh.
That's one strike.
How about Wild West, late 80s, James West?
James West, you got him in 1993, Moj.
He's a
That's a
stud.
good one.
So you did it one
Back in
time.
the day.
Go ahead, Baker.
Alondra Johnson, too. Here's another guy from
we-
the back days.
We'll go back and forth. So go.
Okay.
You can. Well, no.
So we'll give Moj the Alondra Johnson from 1989, but Baker, you got back-to-back guesses now.
Paul Lacoste.
That is incorrect too.
Ooh.
What?
Paul Lacoste. Yeah, that is incorrect.
Okay.
How about the dog, Jeff Braswell?
Jeff Braswell, 1988. Moj is on
Wow.
fire.
That's my era.
This is
like
Moj's
88.
wheelhouse
That's
right
my
here.
wheelhouse.
Well, you can go.
Javi or Glatt?
Javi Glad is a correct answer, Baker. That is 2008 and 2006. Go ahead, Moj.
Okay.
So you got all the recent years here too. Those are easy ones I think to rattle off. But
Man, now I'm like
This
I'm
is
just,
going back to 87.
Now I'm just kind of drawing blanks.
we'll think of the last 5 years. Last 5 years.
Who
Who did it last?
Ben Hladek.
Ben Hladek is
Thank you.
2023. 2022, 2021 are not yet unveiled. It's the
Bo
same-
Lacumbo.
That is an incorrect answer, actually.
Really?
He was close. He was close one year, but he
Okay.
has not done it.
Am I out? We're not doing 3 strikes.
Yeah,
are we?
3 strikes, you're out.
3
I won.
strikes either to be out.
Moj won. All right, it's over.
No, that's just for fun now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
22 and 21 is the same person. That's a hint.
Is he still with the team?
No, he's actually not in the league anymore.
Jordan Williams.
Jordan Williams.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Jordan Williams.
2018.
yeah blink and you'll miss him. Yeah.
You know what I loved about Jordan Williams? Every time you ask Jordan Williams, and I love Jordan, great guy. No longer he's retired. Jordan, what do you have to do to beat the Stampeders this week? Well, to beat the Calgary Stampeders this week, we have to. Like, he'd always repeat the question,
Yeah.
like it was just a habit that he had.
Very smart guy.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
going to
very
do well
smart.
in
Exactly. But he
gotta
always had that
business.
habit of repeating the question then answering it.
So 19. Who the heck did it in 2019?
He's still. We're gonna see him this weekend. Is that a hint?
Mike Alway.
Oh,
Incorrect.
Brendan Dozier?
Brendan Dozier
No.
led the team in tackles in
He was
2019.
he was a Sam linebacker.
Played a little
Yeah,
safety.
he's played all
probably,
over the place.
Okay.
18's an iconic player. 18 is actually approaching the second most tackles by a BC Lion ever.
Oh,
TJ
yes.
Lee was
TJ Lee.
TJ Lee.
TJ Lee.
But this is like
He's not a linebacker.
He's not a linebacker.
He's not a linebacker.
Well, he's going currently linebacker, but he wasn't then.
I didn't say linebackers. I said tackles. I said it's linebacker theme, but there's a couple.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So now you got tax.
So now this is opening up a
Whole new plethora of names.
2009.
2009 is a linebacker. I'll give the positions away. 2007 is a D lineman. Led the team in tackles. He
2007.
is very well.
Brent
known.
Johnson.
Cam Wake.
Cam
Cam
Wake.
Wake, nicely
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Another D lineman is in 92 and 91. Maybe could be considered an edge, I guess, too. Had a career down south.
Say again, what year?
92 and 91.
Aye, that's Julio's era.
Really good player. Like NFL and CFL.
O.J. Brigance?
Correct.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
See, if he would have said this was just not linebackers, we would have done. I'm protesting
Okay,
my
okay.
3 strike. No, this is fun.
Willie Pless has got to be in there somewhere.
Willie Pless is 1990, the all-time
Okay,
leading
nice.
tackler
Traded
in the
for
CFL.
Doug Flutie.
That's right.
Yeah.
So he's the number 1 tackler in CFL history too, right? O'Shea is second, and then I think Johnson's third, and then Big Hill's coming up to 1,000 soon. too.
1998, 1999, 2000.
2000 is a linebacker, I believe. 99, I do not know this player. RR initials.
What are the initials?
RR.
99, RR.
RR.
Oh,
94 is a DB. That's an interesting one. Who else you guys missing? 09 is a linebacker.
yeah, 09. This is
Pretty
bugging me.
pretty prominent name, I would say. Well known.
Is he
Jamal
not Perrin
Johnson?
Miles?
No.
Nope. He
It is a linebacker, though.
played
you
a
said.
played a good role in the 2011 Grey Cup. That's probably a good hint.
Come on, Bakes. You just did that team.
Anton McKenzie.
Anton
There we go.
McKenzie.
Anton
There we go.
McKenzie. Good one.
What else are you missing? 01 was Baron Simpson, so that's actually unveiled.
2000, Herman Smith.
Incorrect. 2000 is another well-known player, I'd say. I'll give initials out here. DB.
No, not Benefield.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
2000
There.
David
That's
Benefield.
that San Francisco Bakers 49ers.
There you
Some
go.
of these names I do not know from now on, from 98 to
99 was an RR, you said?
RR. 98 is AS. 97 is MK. 96 is TC. Should be an easy one. TC.
TC.
96 TC.
Yeah.
You got me.
95 SQ.
Shelton Quarles.
Shelton Quarles. There we go.
Director of Player
95.
Personnel for the Tampa Bay
He won a Super
Buccaneers
Bowl,
and
did he
won a
not?
Super Bowl
Yeah,
with
that's
the
right.
Buccaneers as a middle linebacker.
So we
Shelton
got 97, 96.
94 is a DB. Good DB.
Tom Europe.
Incorrect. Like it's true DB. You know.
Quarles. Give me initials.
CG.
CG. Julio, if you're listening, tell me.
You guys don't know the CG.
Charles Gordon.
Charles
there
Gordon.
we go.
Charles
Yeah,
Gordon,
we talked
that's
about
the
him with the 94 Grey Cup.
87 is GJ for initials.
GJ.
Yeah, he had 71
GJ.
tackles.
This is Moge's era.
GJ.
Well, Moj, you were rattling them off. 96, I think you guys would know. TC.
Yeah.
Okay, we put the.
Should
we're
we
taking a name.
want to unveil-
We got
unveil
to
the answers?
unveil it because we got to get to Bakes.
All right, so
in Calgary.
1999 was Raphael Robinson. Do you guys know that name?
No,
Yeah, I know the name. I wouldn't have guessed
that
it, though,
that name's
Yeah,
not even
yeah,
registering with me.
Andre Strode in 1998.
All right.
97 was Maurice Kelly.
Oh, okay.
Mo Kelly's
Mo
a good
Kelly,
player.
yeah.
Bombers too.
96 was Tyrone Chapman. I thought you guys would
Oh,
get that.
Tyrone
the
Chapman.
fire hydrant.
He used to have the makeup on before games all the
Remember,
time.
Ty was like, he was probably like 5. He listed it probably like 5'11". In reality, it was like 5'4".
Well, that was a team leading 66 tackles that year. so
And
I'm not
87
excited.
was?
Glenn Jackson.
Oh, yeah. How BC football, our BC Sports Hall of Fame.
Sorry, Jake. That's what happens when you get old. You just forget stuff sometimes.
I was impressive though off the top, Mo. You were rattling them off.
Glenn Jackson, I should have known that one. Great linebacker out of SFU, part of that core of that 80s team that was always competitive. All right, Bakes, Calgary.
Yeah,
Friday night. What do we got? Gravy Bowl?
Gravy Bowl, second annual. 4 o'clock is when the action will be. I forgot to mention, if you're worried about the weather forecast, don't. It's fully tented, this backyard party. So they say. That's what we're hearing. 4 o'clock out on Terry Fox Plaza. Pie eating contest. Again, Pedram's younger brother, Andrew, is applying for reinstatement. I think he got disqualified last year.
You got disqualified?
But that's what the insiders have said. Maybe we'll get him on one of these days, talk Lions. He's here at every show, loyal fan. Anyway, pie eating contest, turkey carving, Dwayne Vano and Jay McNeil. Rumors of some pretty prominent alumni with the Lions and Stamps showing up. I don't have names yet, but Molson Coors beverages for $5. Live music, of course. A Thanksgiving-themed menu. This Gravy Bowl, again, it's October. It's a little gloomy outside. That means the games are getting crucial. We're getting down to the wire. So come celebrate your Thanksgiving early with us. Adult tickets starting at $25. Kids 17 and under get in for $15. And happy birthday, Nick.
Yeah, by the way, do we sing happy birthday to you now?
Yeah, you can. You can do the solo here.
Want me to do solo?
Live on radio.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
To you. Happy birthday, dear Nicholas. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? 24, 25?
I'm older. I'm 27, but 10 out of 10, guys.
There
Thank
you go.
you.
27 years of age.
27, wow.
Well, happy birthday, Nick.
I remember being 27. Yeah.
27. I can't. It's too long ago. All right, that's a wrap for us tonight. Happy birthday again, Nick. That's a wrap for us tonight from Goodco on Granville, and a big thank you to Declan and his crew. Check it out, 965 Granville Street. It is the biggest and best place to catch the game downtown. They got 2 decks, super huge place. I mean, it's great in here. It's airy. You're not going to feel confined at all, trust me. Plus a whole bunch of interactive games. It's your home for everything sports in Vancouver, including your BC Lions. On behalf, before we get to Bakes, got to tell you, Kickoff Friday is at
7 o'clock.
So that means the pregame show 6 o'clock on CKNW, and of course kickoff at 7 o'clock with yours truly, Julio Caravetta and Rob Fay. So Calgary and Vancouver Friday night. Again, that game on 980 CKNW, beginning with the pregame show at 6, kickoff at 7. You know what I'm going to tell you before we get out of here? On behalf of Matt Baker and Nick Kowalski, do what you got to do. Live life to its fullest. Go for it on 3rd and 3. Just do us a favor. Be safe.